An illegal immigrant was in court blaming his rape of an underage little girl on cultural differences. This madness has to freaking stop now. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to discuss why our current open border situation with these illegal immigrants are putting us British women and girls in danger. And unfortunately, I am not exaggerating here. We have one case of an illegal immigrant breaking into our country in 2023 and going on to raping a teenage girl that very same year. He then has the freaking audacity to blame him raping this little girl on cultural differences. Now, of course, before I jump into it, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. And as a disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with what this monster actually did. Here, the Telegraph reports with this headline: asylum seeker blames rape of teenage girl on cultural differences. An Afghan asylum seeker. No, not an asylum seeker, an illegal immigrant. Let's call them what they are. An illegal immigrant tried to defend his rape of a 15-year-old Scottish schoolgirl by citing cultural differences and a language barrier. Sadek Nikzad, 29, entered the UK illegally on a small boat in 2023. So why the hell are mainstream media calling him and others asylum seekers? They're not asylum seekers. They are illegal immigrants. They broke into this country on those sodding freaking boats. Let's get it right. So yes, he entered the UK illegally on a small boat in 2023. And this made me so freaking irate. Later that year, so that same year, that's when he decided it was the best idea in the freaking world to then rape an underage little girl, in broad daylight, in Falkirk town centre. What a freaking monster this illegal immigrant is. Now, did the judge buy his argument of cultural differences and a language barrier? Hell no, and thank goodness, because this monster got sent down. And so here it was then reported that he was jailed for 9 years and placed on the sex offenders register for the rape of the teenage girl, which took place on Monday the 16th of October 2023. He was sentenced at the High Court in Livingston today, which was at the time of writing this article, Wednesday the 18th of June 2025, after being found guilty following a trial which concluded a few months prior on Wednesday the 5th of March 2025. Detective Inspector Forbes Wilson from the Forth Valley Public Protection Unit said, quote, "This was a particularly harrowing attack which was carried out during daylight in a busy town centre. His heinous actions had a profound effect on his young victim, and I would like to commend her strength throughout this ordeal." Now, Chris Phillip, MP for Croydon South and the Shadow Home Secretary, had this to say on X about this particular case.
I've just been hearing about the appalling case of an Afghan illegal immigrant called Sadek Nikzad, who entered this country by small boat. This appalling man went on to attack and rape a 15-year-old girl, and his defence in court, he claimed that cultural differences meant he didn't know it was wrong. This, I think, illustrates why the small boat crisis is a public safety crisis as well as a border security crisis. That's why it's so appalling that the Labour government has let in a record number of illegal immigrants so far this year, 2025. Now, the judge sentencing this monster said at the end of his prison sentence, he would be deported back to Afghanistan. But we all know that the way that human rights laws work in this country will make that very, very difficult indeed. And that is why we need to repeal the Human Rights Act in relation to immigration matters, so monsters like this man can be sent out of this country at the end of their prison sentence. I'm deeply disappointed that Labour voted against that measure when we put it to a vote in Parliament just a few weeks ago.
Of course Labour would block that. Of course they would. They don't want to offend their voting base now, do they? We all know which voting base Labour relies on. Let's be freaking real here. It makes sense that we should repeal the Human Rights Act when it comes to immigration situations like this. We should be able to kick these monsters out of the country without them finding a loophole because of human rights. I don't know if you guys have watched this, but I would actually recommend you do. It's one of my favourite programmes in the whole wide world. It's called Life on Mars, and it's based in the 1970s, and there's this really, really famous character. He's called Gene Hunt, and he says something along the lines of that human rights are for humans, not monsters. Yeah. I tend to agree with that. And here is Chris, yet again, in Parliament, saying the following about this case as well.
We see reports of migrants based in hotels being charged with serious crimes, including rape and sexual assaults on women and children. Louise Casey has warned that a significant proportion of sexual offences are committed by those seeking asylum. Cases like 29-year-old Afghan Sadiq Niqzad, convicted of raping a 15-year-old girl. His defence counsel claimed he did not understand this was wrong due to cultural differences. This madness has to stop.
Yeah, this madness does have to stop. Now, the problem is, after this monster serves his jail sentence, by rights, he should be deported back to where he came from. However, like Chris Phillips said, we've seen time and time again judges ruling in favour of these monsters and allowing them to stay in our country, putting further British women and girls at risk. I mean, these monsters have freaking argued, I shiz you not, that they can't be deported because, for example, one of their children only likes chicken nuggets from the UK. They don't like chicken nuggets from abroad for some reason. Yeah, I shiz you not. Others have argued that all of a sudden, right, for want of a better phrase, they've turned gay and therefore would face persecution back home. Although overall, if they're sent back home, then they're going to face persecution because of the crime that they've committed here in the UK. Well, guess what? I don't give a shiz about them and what they're going to face when they are forced to return back to where they came from. They shouldn't be here in the UK in the first place. They are illegal immigrants. They are not asylum seekers. They are illegal immigrants. They broke into our country illegally. They've broken our immigration laws just by freaking being here in this country in the first place. Sadiq Niqzad, that monster, by rights, should be sent back to where he freaking came from after he serves his sentence. But just like Chris Phillips, I'm fearful that based on similar stories about these monsters in the past, he's going to find some sort of loophole to stay here and continue being a threat to British women and girls here in the UK. Ultimately, us British women and girls, we're the ones ultimately that are having to pay. With these monsters literally walking in our midst. And they're brazen about it. They don't care. This monster that I'm talking about here, Niqzad, he raped this girl in freaking broad daylight in the middle of a freaking town centre. They don't care. They don't care at all. They think they can bring their barbarity from their own country here in the UK. No. This has to stop. This madness has to stop. The government needs to start putting more of a priority on protecting us British women and girls from these monsters, from these illegal immigrants that think for some reason it's fine, it's totally tickety-boo to take an underage little girl and rape her in broad daylight in the middle of a freaking city centre. The government, Keir Starmer and his Labour cronies need to adjust their heads and start protecting us instead of putting us in danger by allowing these monsters to break into our country and essentially attack us. I've had enough. What about you guys? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and sadly with the state of the UK at the moment, there's going to be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alternerd tribe here at Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think to this case? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me here at Steph Alternerd for further Political Nerds news. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces, and until the next time, you guys, laters.